All right, we're live.
Good morning, Wade. Welcome to the December 19th meeting of the Raleigh County Commissioners. Please stand and join the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning. My name is Gary Oles. I live at 3308 Frontier Circle. I'm probably not an unfamiliar face to you all since I've been here a couple of times. It's my understanding that statistically, if you poll people on the streets, speaking before an elected body is one of the few things that they've done in their lives. So I think I've made up for a few of them between the city and the county and Erie County as well. I just want to take a minute publicly. It probably doesn't happen very often, and thank you for your service. You devote a lot of time, a lot of your energy, a lot of your knowledge that you already have and things that you learn to try to make decisions that are best for the people. Because after all, you all know, and you know it very well, that you represent the people. You don't represent what you think or a special interest thinks, but you're elected by the people. So I want to thank you for that. Secondly, I want to plant a seed, as I had done in an earlier comment, but on a different topic. I don't really pay attention to your meetings. I don't receive them electronically and things like that. In fact, I would have to say that the Spirit just moved me to show up because I was actually headed to Vista for breakfast. And then I realized you guys were meeting. I want to encourage you, anytime that you have a meeting that goes after lunch where you break for lunch, which I don't even know that happens very often, but when it does and you break for lunch, or maybe perhaps in the morning session, I would encourage you to consider a second public comments segment. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of people that can't get here by 8:30. That's just the reality of life this day and age. So particularly if you have an afternoon session that's going to go because you're going to adjourn, or you're going to have lunch together, or whatever the case may be, publicly, I mean, start the second half of the meeting with public comments. Just a thought for you to consider and discuss among yourselves. The second thing I want to review or ask, and maybe Rich can clarify this for me, because oftentimes the commissioners, I understand, don't comment when people are, it's not a dialogue, it's a monologue when it comes to public comment, is the makeup of the RCPD board. My recollection is that there are appointed representatives, and I understand you're going to do that today on the agenda, that are also elected officials. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, is there one elected official from the city and one from the county, or is it 2 and 1? I can't remember.
We're alternating. There's one this year with the county.
Right. And then the following years there are 2. Was it flip?
Yeah.
2 years. There's one from each one and then one that alternates each year. This year we had 2 and next year we'll have
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. Alternate every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Okay.
And,
The reason I bring that up is just for clarification, not only in my mind, but those who might be up and early listening to this, or maybe listen to it later on tape delay. I've discussed this before. I would still consider that somewhere on your agenda, or at least in the back of your mind, you really consider the makeup of that board. I firmly believe, and I think I'm the only one that stands up here and speaks about it, and maybe everybody else thinks I'm off my rocker, but I really believe that board needs to be made up of completely elected officials and absolutely no appointed officials. I understand that that's a slow boat to turn. I understand that's not going to take a year or 2 years, or may never get turned. That's the reality. But I think in the best interest of the citizens, even though it's not part of our founding documents, we should not have taxation without representation. And honestly, those unelected officials, they are not representative of the people. They could say they are, but they are not, because the truth is only those who are elected by the people are representatives. And if that means working with the state legislature on changing the laws so that it's only elected officials, or maybe you consistently, as a policy or practice, appoint elected officials, that would be terrific. But the reality is, as I've said before, it's really important. Now, one of the things that I would also suggest as something that you should consider, and I believe other counties are in Kansas, and I'm probably out of time, is that you expand this board to 5 members instead of 3. And the reason for that is primarily the growth that's taken place over the last, whatever it is, 20 years or 10 years. It's important that you represent fewer people. Or at least I think it's important that you represent fewer people. And I don't think there's any harm in expanding. Of course, there's always an expense, but the elected representatives of a board of 5 would also give you an opportunity with regards to RCPD board, having 2 representatives from city, 2 representatives from county, or 3, or whatever the makeup may be, that they're all elected, which would also give you the opportunity to discuss without an open meeting, as I understand it, with 5 on the board, because currently 2 of you, as I understand it, cannot get together and just chit chat or whatever it is. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gary.
Good morning, Commissioner. First thing I want to do is thank all of you for your service as well. As a sole person for Reach, we match cookies. So gratitude for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a pretty setup.
It's pretty. All homemade food.
All homemade,
All right.
made with love. We appreciate you guys very, very much.
We definitely appreciate you guys too. Cookies with And second thing on your report is to tell you the employee of the month for January. So I'll read what was submitted for donation. Derek has helped our office in many ways the past few weeks. He has helped move staff to make room for new employees. He has been helpful in allowing us to test standing workstations by moving monitors at least 6 times. Anytime we have a request, he has helped quickly and with a smile. We want him to know that how much he is appreciated, and that is from the Riley County Treasurer's Office. And so I'd like to present Derek with a plaque of appreciation and 2 movie tickets. And also you'll have a parking spot on the front row. It's a good time of the year to have that. Okay, so appreciate everything we do. Thank you. Picture with the commissioner.
Congratulations, Derek. Thank you. Well deserved.
Hey, yeah.
We all in here?
We're all in
Okay.
here. 1, 2, 3. I don't think we close. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Eric.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Was it January already? It said January, right?
January, yeah.
A lot of us IT people are about those recognitions for over the years, it seems.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate in finding IT people that actually relate well to people too.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what's hard to do. And we've been very fortunate in Riley County in that regard.
That's true.
Good customer service, because that's what they are. They're a service department.
It's well deserved. That's for sure. Okay, public comments. Last Thursday afternoon, after our regular session, we held interviews with 3 companies who are being considered for the construction manager at risk for the public safety headquarters project. After the interviews, the committee and commissioners rated the 3 applicants. And after totaling all the scores, we determined that BHS had the top rating for the job and that we would hire them. I believe there's a contract being under consideration and comes. Friday, I met with Amanda and went over the handout we've been working on and revising for the Keats Water Treatment Project. There are some possibilities that will be worked on, in the next few months that, maybe. After that, I went up to the fourth floor that had been vacated by CASA. They left a lot of things up there, probably another truckload of supplies and materials. There is a stand-up workstation if anybody knows, and quite a few desks and.
Well, we just can't take stuff though, if it's, I'm not
What's,
sure if it's theirs or ours.
Yeah.
well, most of it has.
Either way,
Yeah, the back room, where there's the access to the roof, that had a lot of stuff in it, so.
We did.
I think the space has good possibilities for us to use. And unfortunately, there wasn't a sign on the door as to where the client should go or phone number or anything. And we don't have, I don't think, a forwarding phone number or forwarding address for them, from what I understand.
We could probably find one, but there hasn't been one provided.
We weren't even told the day they were moving out.
And so I think we need to follow up and get a sign out here on the entry door and tell people where they've moved, if we can figure that out.
It's still on the directory out there.
I do not know.
Good question. I'll bet they are.
I think they are.
I'll bet they are.
And with stickers and stuff. And they're still that they are.
Change something.
Yeah.
Staff has noticed there've been a couple people that have apparently been trying to get services there and have wandered around the building. Haven't gone up to floor. So.
Yeah, so I think we need to
Actually, I think you need to put that on the front doors.
front doors.
Yeah.
too.
Front and up there as well.
Yeah, because it's not fair to the client. So.
We already made some initial inquiry about that through email, but I don't know that we've heard back. That was some time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think they've checked out, and we need to get their keys back and that kind of thing too. So.
Yeah,
I was able to
they
get
have
in
not.
my fob, so. Okay. Anyway, so I did that. I looked around for a while and kind of had some visions of what it could look like if we would fix it up for space. Then that evening, attended the Masterworks Chorale holiday concert that was held at the Methodist Church. And that was really amazing. They did a lot of Latin and German and all sorts of, like, they did a whole symphony chorale thing from Haydn, and it was just amazing. I don't know how they did all that done, but and they had an orchestra there, and the organ was fun. It was quite an affair. A lot of people, so it was good to get into the holiday concert. So anyway, Sunday went to Abilene for lunch, and then we toured the Seeley Mansion. I had not toured it before, and it was all decorated for the Christmas tour, and they did a whole lot of historical information on the tour. And then the owner of the place, who lives there, actually played the old pipe organ that he has there with the bellows, and then he played the grand piano, and people sang holiday songs. It was really quite an afternoon. So anyway, that's all I've got. So.
On CASA, if I could, since we're on the topic, we'll try and get a hold of them. We'll get signs placed, but is the board okay, or does the board agree that we need to ask CASA to remove all of their stuff and turn in their keys?
Yeah.
So I want to be sure I have a consensus of the board when I deliver that message.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I knew some of the stuff was ours.
Yeah, there's some desks that have been left, and there's monitors and computers that they left that I guess IT.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it clear, we're not a storage facility.
No.
Yeah, we've got, as you mentioned, potential, needs for that particular space, and we need to.
It's a nice space. I mean, I don't think the roof's leaking, but there's no sign of any recent water damage. So. Yeah, I think that's a good.
Yeah, well, Thursday afternoon, I too was here in the afternoon to go through that final process and introduce the selected construction manager at risk for the new public safety headquarters. I wanted to take a moment and actually say thanks to all the firms that showed some interest in this project, and to the 3 firms that took the time to put that final presentation together. It takes an incredible amount of resources and personnel to do those things, and I'm just really appreciative of all who took time and interest on this, what's going to be very important and key facility for Riley County for
generations to come. So, and of course, as mentioned, look forward to working with BHS over the next couple of years on this project to get it stood up and done and operational. So Saturday morning, I spoke and made a few remarks at the National Wreaths Across America ceremony at the Kansas Veterans Cemetery. There's several other places, including Fort Riley, who were doing this too. Pretty cold, pretty windy. However, it was truly an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to speak with the group and to both of those that were serving that were available and to those that have fallen and to the families that were there and honor those that had fallen. I don't ever think I really have great words, encouragement or anything on there. So I always feel a little uncomfortable in those scenarios. So I just don't have the right words to say to anybody, but to make a few remarks. Junction City High School's ROTC was available, did the colors. The Junction City American Legion Post was on hand to do firing. And then they did taps and all that as well. It was a really, really good ceremony, really, really well run. The wreaths are just gorgeous, made out of balsam, really sturdy. I got some pictures of it. To my knowledge, everybody who was buried out there, they had family there or somebody there or not got one of those. I thought that was pretty cool. So, like I said, let's see. Dan Watkins, who's the VFW post commander here, gave the keynote speech. Representative Sidney Carlin also addressed the crowd as well. So there's three of us that kind of spoke, and then there was somebody just kind of working through and moderating the event, and it went very, very well. Saturday evening, watched the K-State men dispose of Nebraska Cornhuskers in Kansas City. Looked pretty good, or maybe Nebraska's bad, or maybe both. I don't know. I know the record's 10-1. Maybe that's deceiving. Maybe it is. I do know there's one more non-conference game, and then it gets real. So we'll see pretty quickly here. But I just see something a little different in this team than I've seen the last couple of years. There's a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm. And there's a lot more athleticism just all the way around the board. If they can just stay consistent, maybe. So yesterday afternoon, I attended the holiday open house at the Wolf House downtown. Got a very educational and informative tour of the house. Looked to be well attended by other members from the public. It was full. People were moving around quite freely. I'm glad the Riley County Museum was able to do this. I hope they find some other creative and innovative ways to show off the other historical facilities that we have across the city and across the county moving forward. And then lastly, on a good note, I can happily report that WTC received well over $3.5 million from the state broadband and rural grant. One that we sent a letter of support back in August. That's to help bring broadband infrastructure and service to the area. These dollars will help expand fiber to over 118 square miles in the rural county and approximately 814 households, businesses, farms, as well as public institutions in the rural part of Shawnee County, critical areas of Potawatomi County, as well as the south end of Riley County, which I believe includes the area in and around the transfer station for us. So it has immediate impact and benefit for Riley County as well. So I had a chance to talk to Jeff Wood, the general manager, a couple of weeks back, and extremely grateful that they have the resources to be able to do that, and they continue to work and move on it. So now I think we have to start kind of focusing on the north end.
That's what I know. Twin Valley. I don't know if they got.
I don't know if they did or not either. I might reach out to Scott just to see. I think their proposal was a little maybe short-ended, so maybe they didn't, but they were definitely planning on something a little bit more robust than that for the second round. So just putting that on the horizon moving forward, because north part of the county needs these critical services as well. So, and with that, that's all I've got this month.
Also, I didn't have a bit, again, we met those three contractors Thursday, and they were all, did a good presentation. I was proud of them, did a good job. And glad we had three quality people to choose from. Other than saying, well, let's go with this. I mean, they were all qualified people. It's good to see that much response to our request. And then Friday, I met with MCM about the land they're wanted to annex out by the airport. They showed me the plans and I went over what their equipment plan to do out there. I guess they'll come for us next week. Yes. And then later Friday, I met with a group of firefighters at Leonardville Station. They had some questions they wanted to go over with me. Had a pretty good, had a long session, actually. Of course, we got off on a lot of other stuff too. But Sunday, and also I also attended the open house that the Raleigh County Historical Society had at the Wolf House. And yeah, it looked great. They had it decorated well. And like I say, they had, like you said, received a lot of educational, the tour part they're talking about the different, what had gone on there in the 90s and things, the boarding house. And Sunday evening went to Topeka for Christmas with my brothers. And after dinner, we went to the Sarah Evans Christmas concert at the event center. Did a great job. We all enjoyed it. Wasn't widely attended. It was really good. My brother said, speaking just doesn't draw any of the people out there. It was great. We had a good time.
I tend to go out more for the kind of, arts and culture stuff, but they have a tea pack on them. I think they do it for concerts.
Yeah.
Never understood that either.
It wasn't that big a crowd. She gave a good concert there. And that's all I've got.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Yeah.
First time we have is
Turn the air conditioning.
Yeah.
You must be comfortable with that.
first
I didn't wear a coat.
It's roasting here.
First item we have is the 2022 audit engagement letter and county contractual provisions.
I have a question on that, Rich. I didn't see that the contractual provisions were part of this. Were they part of the original? Are they part of the document?
This is the standard document that we get every year, so I think that wording's just,
Yeah, because it refers to the contractual provisions
Yeah.
attachment, but I didn't see
this is
that.
the only contract that we have with them regarding audit services is this thing. I can take that part out if you like, and actually,
I just couldn't
that's
remember if there really
that's
was.
just the title. The motion actually just says engagement letter.
It's fine.
So that's for this year. Are we going to get last year's?
2022, this is the audit engagement letter. The audit's done.
Oh, that's
For your-
yeah, I never get that. Last year's.
A copy of it and get you a copy of it.
It never came to us. I don't believe.
Yeah, well, they got it late. It's just been done in
Yeah.
the last 2 weeks.
Okay, I was just saying it was late, but we usually at least have a presentation.
Yeah. Yep, we'll get that. Got it. But yeah, I just received it on my desk like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the attached engagement letter by Riley County to James Gordon and Associates commencing 2022 audit services.
I would second that.
They're moved in second to approve the engagement letter for audit services for 2022. All in favor?
Chairman, please.
So
That's why the steam heat's working again.
yeah,
Yeah,
so why?
well, we got it fixed last year, so I guess it's.
Yeah, that's why.
We'll be thankful for it on Thursday, that's for sure.
You got this. Yeah. That's why I didn't think that thing was working.
It wasn't, it's up and down, like one day it'll work, one day it won't. So it's
No, that's what it is. When it works, it works. But
Well, let's make sure it's on Thursday because we'll probably need it then, but.
I'll be zooming in on Thursday.
Oh, that's right, you're not gonna be here.
Yeah. I'll probably be in the car. My daughter has one source of things.
Ton of vacation time built up that I need to take, and I don't know, it probably makes sense to take just next week off, but I don't have anything to do or anywhere to go, so I really don't want to use it for that, but I may have to.
Well, go to the beach.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, it's that.
It's out.
Next motion I need is to sign appointment letters for John Ford County Commissioner Patricia Hudgens, county resident, and approve the resolution for law board.
I would make a motion to sign the appointment letters for John Ford and Patricia Hudgens, and approve resolution number 121922, appointing Raleigh County representatives to the law enforcement agency board.
I'll second that. We moved and seconded to sign the appointment letters for John Ford, Patricia Hudgens for the law board. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
All three sign, please.
I have to say, I still haven't gotten used to getting in the mail letters I've actually signed with my own name on there.
Letter from yourself.
Yeah. In fact, you guys could just save the stamp and throw it in my box, or do you have to do that statutorily, Rich? Actually send those to the person,
No, you don't necessarily.
If I say you can save the time and the postage and just throw it in the box. Two? Just two per?
Yeah. Next, I need a motion on retail dealers 2023 cereal malt beverage license for Liquid Art Winery, Wildcat Creek Road, and there's Fast Lane on 5321 Soda Creek Boulevard and 1132 Pillsbury Drive.
So I make a motion to sign the retail dealers 2023 cereal malt beverage license for Liquid Arts Winery and Darrow's Fast Lane.
I would second that.
We moved and seconded to sign the retail dealers 2023 cereal malt beverage license for Liquid Art Winery and to Darrow's Fast Lane. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please. Are there any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
I had one question. Rich, I still can't get into the minutes. It's not a computer thing. They just didn't follow along with what I got. Can you tell me on the construction management at risk, does it show that you went in and out those 3 times and then that longer motion?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Multiple conversations going on.
Sorry. Does that, when you get down to the construction management at risk in those executive sessions, does that, and I can't even pull it up to see what page it's on. Can you tell me, does it show that the board went in and out of it each time for those 3 presentations?
I don't remember.
They're not, it's not pulling up on
Yeah,
You could
no.
coming up. I
Don't,
can't get it.
and maybe nobody got it.
Was there a way to approve until we actually sign?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is-
When you see something like that, let us know if you can't get to it, and then we can fix it. That way we have it ahead of time for the meeting. So
Sure, weekend for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll just have them for next Monday.
That'd be great. Thank you. It's just it's pretty important just because that was a particular kind of executive session.
Are we not meeting?
Huh?
You said next Monday. I'm sorry.
Or next Thursday.
This
Sorry,
Thursday.
this Thursday.
No, I thought we were going to have to come
Next
in, but you
meeting.
said we're coming in.
I thought you decided. Like, okay, whatever.
I'm glad you challenged it. I'm going to be sitting here all by myself.
Yeah, we'll add them to the next agenda.
Okay.
Next Monday.
No, they won't be. You guys might, I won't be. That's up to you.
Next Monday.
On next meeting. Yeah.
Have tentative agendas, commissioners.
I didn't see on the 29th that resolution on that annexation is on there. think it's supposed to be on the agenda at 9:35.
That stops at like 9:20.
I wonder if they've gotten it to us.
We're gonna wear out your notepad.
That's something the city has to get to us before we can put it on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have the authority to just,
It's scheduled. I know that. I know it's scheduled, but yeah, okay.
Well, 'cause I think the city had to do something this year, maybe. the
I
city
think it's
had to do
tonight or
something
tomorrow night. Yeah.
Tomorrow night, and then have to, probably like,
Yeah, and if they do that, yeah, there's plenty of time for the 29th.
Well, I mean, not as much because everybody's got those 2 extra days off.
Yeah, but still, we can only do what we're notified to do.
I understand.
Like you're going to the next week. It shouldn't. Monday instead of Thursdays. Well, we don't.
How are the
That's
tentative
what they do.
agendas, other than the 29th, and we'll check on that with the city.
Everything else.
I'll
is
bet they
fine.
just haven't gotten it to us yet because they haven't finalized their process.
Sure.
So we're into Amy's time.
Morning, Amy Mangus, Register of Deeds. And that's it.
Yeah, it'd be way down there, Amy.
Yeah. Have to slow down quite a bit.
See what that upset said.
Said 70 a little while ago.
I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's past 70.
Yeah, there you go.
Even here by the door.
I actually think it's warmer in here than it is out there. But
Here's in my office, it's warmer, but it wasn't when I was in there earlier. Probably cranked it up.
Well, we're wrapping up another busy office, busy year at the Register of Deeds. During that time, we were able to fill our vacant position, bringing the office up to full staff for the first time since January of 2021. We implemented property fraud alert and have a little over 400 subscribers as of last week. We completed our indexing and verification of our records from 1953 through 1985. It's almost 111,000 documents. That basically just means that they're now searchable on the computer. That they were entered, read, corrected. And this is a project that was actually started during Charlotte's time, so it's really exciting to get that wrapped up after like 20 years. We added the ability to accept credit cards for copy fees. We continue to cross-train staff so that we're able to perform all aspects of the office at any given time. We assisted other departments with purchase of technology from land records through our technology fund when we were able to, and continue to track the revenue loss from the loss of the mortgage registration fee changes from 2014 and presented that at various meetings. For the coming year, I'm looking at continuing to take courses to become a certified register of deeds. I also have my deputy taking hers. Taking education opportunities for staff as they come along. I'm hoping they'll have more in-person opportunities this coming year. We're working on a rescan project of our books 239 through 332. They're basically negative images that we're switching over to positive. We're going to continue providing services in a timely manner, even with our increased workload and same number of staff. We're looking at starting to accept credit cards for recording fees. I'm exploring the possibility of becoming a passport acceptance facility. Just kind of looking into the requirements and if we have the staff, time, equipment etc. And then I'll continue to track the revenue loss as a result of the mortgage registration fee changes. Any questions?
I've mentioned it a bunch of times and I'll keep doing it. That last item is really helpful with our delegation, state legislative delegation, because if we can't show data that reflects the result of the change they made on something that's seemingly so innocuous as a small fee, we can't show them how important it is that they pay attention to county, because there was plenty of objection across the state from county organizations, both, individual offices and from the county, from KAC, and about what impact that was going to have on the property tax, what property tax impact it was going to have on counties in terms of revenue loss. If we can't show that with dollar figures, then we don't have a chance of convincing them how important it is. Not to bring back the mortgage registration fee, that would be nice. But that's really not the goal. The goal is just to show them that this is the impact it has on the mill levy. So I just want to thank her for doing that, because sometimes it gets lost, I think. I'm not aware of any other registered deeds office in the state that is tracking that. Certainly not the extent your office is.
They're not. There were a few that
I
did.
thought Leavenworth County was one that at least was at one time.
I'm not sure. I know Saline County was, but I think she stopped a year or two ago.
And that just baffles me, but whatever.
I think probably because, our county offices kind of get used to this and they just kind of throw up their hands and say, well, it kind of is what it is. And probably most of your registered deeds office aren't large offices to start with. So the staff and personnel are focused on probably what they're the task at hand. But I think the last one's interesting to me. That actually, I hadn't even considered that. So you just brought it up, but considering that very transientness and stuff of our region and city and county, that might not actually be a bad idea. A way to work with and incorporate certain aspects. People are constantly moving around and coming in from different places, including overseas. Talk about that till just now.
Yeah, what would you do as an acceptance facility, passport acceptance?
Well, those are the things that we need to look at.
Oh, okay.
Basically, from my understanding, and some of the other registered deeds do it currently, is you would take the paperwork to send in.
For applying for a passport, okay.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. Which hadn't really crossed my mind since they do it right over here at the post office. But we hear a lot that people are being sent over to Wabunsee County. So it's like, well, if they're not doing it here or don't have the ability to do it here, then maybe we can at our office. And
K-State does it as well. K-State's is the fastest way to go. That's how we.
Oh,
yeah.
Do they do that for everybody, or they just do
Everybody.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know.
Our
Okay.
family did that.
What
Yeah.
office? I knew they did, but I just thought it was
The students in the union hall.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Third floor.
it's up at I think it's up in the third floor.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Or it was when-
Office is.
Let me rephrase it. It was when I was there.
When they get you in and out. It's by far the best.
I just thought that was for students and faculty and, okay.
We did ours there.
Yep.
Okay.
Entire family did ours. Sir.
But still doesn't hurt to necessarily have a third option if it works and it can be available, so. Yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Next, commissioners, you have David Adams at 9:15.
Didn't we just see you not too long ago?
Hey, you're the.
Oh, Lord.
If you tell me, hey, we don't need to see you for a while, I'm good with that.
You have to take off.
And I will tell you, two commissioners, don't miss a letter in a word in an email that Vargo and Ellerman see. Because
We got to hear about
I've got to hear about it twice.
his undergarments.
What?
In the North County station, I asked for two, about the pantry in the kitchen. And he said, well, if we have a 36-inch one, we can keep that or have two 24-inch pantries. And I said,
I know what you did.
Oh,
and I heard about it within 24 hours. And maybe within 12 hours of that email being sent.
Oh, I see a meme coming.
Oh, God. Yeah.
what are you keeping in the kitchen?
That's-
I've seen that before. People miss that.
Yep.
I've seen it in other.
I don't,
You have to kind of laugh at it. So.
And I think I sent it while we were here on.
No, don't use that as an excuse, sorry.
Because I heard about it Friday morning. Oh,
Oh, gee.
Like they say, it takes a village.
Yeah.
and sometimes it needs a city.
Commissioners, it was 76. It was reading 76 out there.
Oh.
So it's probably 80 in here.
Yeah.
It start feeling like it's starting to cool off a little bit.
It is.
That's usually really.
You're gonna see what's in your goodie box, Commissioner Ford.
That's not just mine.
Absolutely.
Actually, I want to take a couple photos of it.
Oh,
Not that hot in here. Usually it's steamy in here. Let's see what's in here.
Oh,
You can
Commissioner
let's
Ford
take a
wants to take a
picture.
picture. We take the lid off.
That is cool.
That was nice of them.
Yeah.
From the reach committee to the commissioners.
I saw that
I
this
didn't know
morning.
if you saw
to the
it.
commissioners,
Right. Yep. Understood.
we can share.
Sometimes they share, sometimes not.
Careful.
That's just too pretty not to. Of course, I put it right where the light is. Light's still there. Okay, well, never mind. We'll put it back where we had it. Okay. You ready for this?
Oh, it jumps out when you.
Holy
Oh,
cow.
It's not just
Even
cookies.
candy.
No. Chex Mix. Cookies underneath.
Bread.
Banana bread.
Banana bread.
Wow.
All right. Good picture of that too.
What do you do with pictures of these things, John?
Oh, I've got plans.
Okay.
Well, it's open now, so I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
Take pictures of stuff. And then, how did I do that?
I know, look like.
Oh, today's Saturday. They gotta post every picture on something, so
Okay, what do we got here?
all kinds of stuff, commissioners.
Didn't take long, but I think I'll wait for next.
On candy
Go
cane,
ahead,
though, I
please.
am a traditionalist, red and white,
You don't want the rainbow?
I wouldn't eat a candy cane anyway, but
These are like little chocolate cookies. They got any chocolate chips in them?
peanut clusters.
Yeah.
Oh, there's. Oh, goodness.
My wife and I were out at Candy Farms down
Yeah.
on Collins.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas shopping and they have hot chocolate, but then they have adult hot chocolate.
Oh, really? Where was that at?
A&H Farms down on Collins Lane.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple different varieties of adult hot chocolate.
Wow.
It was
Morning, Catherine.
my wife was fighting, so it was good.
Yeah, it could be dangerous. I may have to grab an Uber from a location like that.
Yeah. We were from your Christmas.
With the sugar cookie.
Mhm.
Fall.
that time of year. Gotta indulge some. Ready, commissioners?
Great. Good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, EMS Ambulance Director with my monthly updates. Starting off, calls for service in November, 428, down over about 120 from the month before.
Yeah.
And it felt like it. I would have been surprised, if that number wasn't 390. It just, as you listen to calls and your phone kind of blows up, with the calls, it felt like a slower month, but that's still a pretty good number for us. So, the crews remind me that, that's that's still pretty good numbers. Yeah. 19 calls in North County, which is about average. So, calls per station, nothing really has changed. We're busier at Station 2 than Lovington Point's than typical. But still Station 1 stays pretty busy. 89 at Public Works, 56 at the airport, and then our LS first responder up north had 10 calls between those 7 A, 7 P hours. So, the rest, if there's any years, there's been standbys and such. I'm continuing to work on new building construction related topics, obviously, that's on Thursday. So thank you for getting that onto your schedules and getting that done. So I know Clancy's already, I'm sure, working on the documents. He was waiting for from Kyle from Arc Images to send him some the AIA draft and things like that, which is really, really helpful. It kind of speeds up Clancy's process. So, last week, Ron Element and Rick Fargo, myself, met with Anderson Knight. So went over some of their plans. They had some questions for us, and they had some drawings of the exterior of the building. So I've asked them to get those to me the first week of January, so I can have them here for you on that Thursday. So I thought it was looking pretty sharp, and I like how they did it. I think it's going to be what you were asking us for. So, but so they're working on that. February 1st is when they thought solar right around there would be ready for bid. So as they finish up some of their stuff, that was the date he kind of gently tossed out there. So we completed employee evaluations. Got those turned in on. We were late by 1 day for 2 of them because had employees who were sick. So, but got them all turned in, uploaded into Paylocity as requested. Paylocity works really well. I like it a lot better than what we had with ADP. No question. So, both of the expeditions that were in CIP from last year have arrived. Both have had their graphics put on. The one that is going to go to the on-shift supervisors is at KCON. It'll be there for another 2 or 3 weeks. So, and then the second one will go in and get its radios put in. So, working through that. KCON's working hard on it. Just they've got busy schedules and staff issues, just like everybody else. So, but they're coming along nicely. So I would expect by February 1st, they'll both be in service, and I can give their car back. So it's been interesting being in a car. I don't have radios, so I have my handheld. I turn on my handheld, then I forget to turn it off when I get home, and then I get in the morning. My radio battery's dead, so. I really enjoy having the radio, so I hear what's going on and have a feel for things. So, but it blows me, right? So
Better to be able to hear than to type on your behalf, apparently.
The crew sometimes would rather be not here. So Josh has been working really hard over the last month. Every 5 years, we have to do Medicare revalidation. And then that's a trickle down. So you have the federal Medicare, then you have state Medicare, state Medicaid, then you have all the insurance companies. So once your first validation is done, then it must trigger something. And Josh has spent vast majority of his time in the last month just doing this revalidation. It is a lot of work. They called on last Thursday, said a Medicare representative said last Thursday, said we'll be at your office at noon on Friday. So they showed up about 1 o'clock on Friday. But it was just, which I knew what it was going to be. They just want to make sure that we really were an ambulance station, that we had ambulances, you know, so that, well, because of being a county department, it's really not a big deal. But they do that because of Medicare fraud with private companies, you know, who are billing for an ambulance, you know, and there's not one at that location that's on their paperwork, that type of thing. So for us, it's not a big deal, but it's still something they have to do, come out, take a picture and say, yep, this is a building, this is the ambulance department, they have ambulances in their buildings that respond. So.
Yeah, David, can I ask you something? A question came up to me from a property owner about, you know, oh, well, ambulance they're covered by insurance, all the runs they make. Do you have a percentage of what the insurance companies actually pay against our costs?
It varies tremendously.
Mhm.
It varies by the insurance companies.
Sure.
But it varies by what they call the level of call. Was it an EMT, a basic life support level? Was it a paramedic life support? Was it an advanced paramedic life support? That call. Then it varies on how many miles we transported. And then it varies with some of the procedures that we do. So there's a tremendous amount of variation. So to answer your question, kind of, but not really. Because we'll get a check from the state Medicaid. We got one last week for $7. That's what they paid
For an ambulance call.
for an ambulance call. That's what they paid us.
Good thing you got that one.
Yeah.
Cost them more to write that check.
Your books at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, so there is not an easy answer. Now, can I tell you as an average? You know, our Omni can tell us as an average, you know, this is how much we get from Medicare, from Medicaid, from food costs, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But they'll have a huge disclaimer with it that this varies widely.
Mhm.
So.
Well, I didn't know if there was any kind I know that insurance doesn't, especially Medicare or Medicaid doesn't cover the cost of the calls, but I was kind of, when that question came up, I said, well, I don't know, you know, for
Right.
sure what the percentage is, but
Yeah.
I know they don't cover it all. So.
Since you said you can get that through Omni at your next one, could you maybe include that? For
Yeah.
interest for them?
Yeah.
Be interesting to see.
Thanks,
Tax-
David.
Mhm.
As tax season comes up, we always get questions.
Sure. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I should be able to get that from them, but like I said, they'll have a disclaimer for me. Hey, you gotta understand, you know, but I see it.
But an average.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
Thanks.
But he's got most of that Medicare revalidation. We're gonna reach out to Rich's office or Shiloh today. The state, once we give them our W-9 that we have on file, they want a newer one.
Mhm.
So we just need to reach out to somebody and say, okay, the state wants one that's within the last year. So,
Get you that.
so he's gonna be reaching out to somebody to get that for him. So, our new truck check sheets are completed and implemented. It's gone very well. The crews really like them. It's our first really major addition in many years. So, that's another one of those projects that we had somebody on light duty for a non-work related injury. And he was hopeful to get started. I bet it took us 80 hours to build these. It just a tremendous amount of time. And now we're rolling out the new expiration check sheets. So we built these and now we have to roll out, because we check expirations twice a month. We check them on the 7th. So it's actually that week of whatever the 7th falls into, you know, because every month is different. They check every item in the trucks. And if it has an expiration date, we write them down. And then our purchasing supervisor uses that to make sure that we have purchased what we need. So when they check them again and they pull things that are expiring at the end of that month, that we have what we need. So it's and we've changed how we're doing that. Where we used to say, okay, you've got this day, you've got this whole truck. Well, you've seen our call volume, it's just got such, so now we break it down. So on Monday, you have these cabinets on this truck. On Tuesday, this crew do these cabinets on this truck, and that type of thing, to just make it so we can really spend the time and make sure we're good. So, so they're excited about it. We're breaking things up and making it a little bit more manageable for our staff. So it's been a lot of work. Not quite done yet. I should have it done by the end of this week, so we can ready to roll it out the first week of January. Asset inventory is complete. I've got the stuff here to turn back in today. So Josh, another one of Josh's things going on, and then we have our internal inventory, just updating everything, knowing what age our equipment is and where it's located and things like that, which is kind of a moving target because things get moved around. We had a crew last week had a call that had to take their truck out of service because it needed a really deep cleaning. So you take a cot off another truck, you put it on that one, so you have that one up and running, and so a lot of moving around. It all works the same, but it also gives Josh gray hairs. So education, still 100% review of all calls. End of year training is wrapping up. We have training that is assigned every month, and then we have some mandatory that has to be done by the end of the year. I've got mine done, so but I think we're pretty well done there. So we're doing a emergency pediatric care hybrid class. For those who've taken it a couple times, we can do the hybrid. But I was the last one. There was like 8 of us. I was the last one to get it done because I have to do mine at night and I can't stay awake. So I have my headphones in, listening to these slideshows, and not off. But I got it done. So we've participated in a couple parades. I really liked what they did with the ambulance with the Christmas parade. They had a lot of fun with that, and they took a lot of pride in that. So and then car seat check lines continue. Breakdown of our calls by days. You can see, Tuesdays and Wednesdays kind of threw me for a little bit. So I dug just a little deeper into that in flu season. We had a large number of our calls on those days were what they call ILIs, influenza-like illness. So that I did a quick search and went, oh, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. People got sick, whether from something over the weekend or whatever, but that really bumped our call volume over those days. So and then we kind of saw it. If you see here, 7 to 8 in the morning, was one of the higher marks of our day. People are getting up. They're moving around going, oh, I'm sick. I don't feel well. So, and then again, about that noon time, I think that's more of just I've gone to work. Now I can't stand up. I'm dizzy, that type of thing. So, but when I could pull those and look at those, I always kind of find that interesting. Go, no, okay, yep, I can tell you why. So, and then just from the breakdown of the call volumes. So, and then their percentage. Yeah, any questions for me? I'll get that percentage. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting to see.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, David.
And Shiloh does a great job. I get emails from her every single day with our deposits. So should we keep her on her toes?
Next, Commissioner Shiloh at 9:30 on the press conference.
When you get up there.
Good morning, Commissioners. Shiloh Hager, Riley County Treasurer, with just a final reminder to the public that 2022 real estate and personal property taxes are due tomorrow, December 20th. All payments that are mailed in must be postmarked by that day. We have several options to make it easier for the public to come in and pay. We have a drop box in the lobby if you're wanting to drop a payment off between the hours of 8 and 5. There's also a drop box located on the front of the building for after hours. You can pay online using a debit or a credit card or an e-check at the website, which is www.rileycountyks.gov. A credit or debit card will incur a 2.5% convenience fee on the amount that is charged, plus a $2 processing fee. If it's an e-check, it'll just incur the $2 processing fee. If we are available 8 to 5, if you want to come in and pay in person, I just highly recommend that you make an appointment using our appointment system, which is located on the treasurer's page on the website. And then when you come in, you just check in with the receptionist and we will get you processed at your appointment time. Just a reminder, any personal property, intangible, watercraft, 1620 M trucks or oil payments, if the first half is not paid by December 20th, the taxes become due in full with interest accruing daily. No motor vehicle transactions will be processed if any of these types are delinquent. They must be paid up before you can do any of your motor vehicle work. The delinquent tax rate for 2022 is 9% on real estate taxes and 15% if the total amount that is outstanding is more than $10,000. The interest rate, and those are annual amounts. The interest rate for personal property is 4% or 10% if the total outstanding amount is more than $10,000. We do offer escrow programs to assist taxpayers in helping them pay either their current taxes or help them work on any delinquent taxes that they might have. And as always, if you need any assistance or any questions, please feel free to call our office at 785-537-6321. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Shiloh. Next commissioners, you have Catherine Hensler, 935.
Morning.
Good morning.
Doing good. How about you?
Thank you.
Really enjoyed yesterday's tour and conversation.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Did you have a pretty good crowd?
I feel it's a good crowd. I would have liked to have seen more. Over the course of the day, we had about 32 visitors. So good numbers. And if we had more, the way we had it set up, it might have clogged the process of movement. But I'm pretty pleased with it. And it was fun. We got to meet a lot of new people and meet some of our board members. And, the weather was lovely. So great.
Hi,
You sharing cookies, John?
yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, appreciate it. I know it's an extra time
Is there?
to make a request.
So you pass them on.
It looks like a monster cookie.
We'll talk about it. You and I.
You can say those are healthy for you too, John. They got
You and I.
Okay, you talked me into it. And the doctor asked, I'll just say blame the county clerk.
I like the way you're just gonna keep it away from them.
Yeah.
I did look at it. My favorite, they hooked me on more than just in all around this.
Exactly. They say oatmeal's healthy.
Yeah.
I have oatmeal every morning, but
I do too.
I do oatmeal bars that have cranberries, blueberries in them, and raisins, and they're really good.
You don't like it?
No, please, that's what I.
Get oatmeal from the grist mill over in Abilene.
Oh, really?
And they're really doing quite a thing. They build their own flour, they do all sorts of stuff. It's quite a gift shop.
Definitely.
Good morning, Commissioners. Catherine Hensler, Museum Director. This morning, we've got on the agenda the policy review and approval of the Riley County Historical Society's museum and museums collections management policy. We were prepared to present this and go through the process of review and approval. However, a few questions have been raised over the weekend concerning more of HR involvement with historic preservation activities. The question has been raised whether or not this needs to be worked into a collections management policy. And we've gone through some conversation privately and feel that we, council and human resources and the museum need to discuss a little further before we are ready to proceed with the approval of this policy. And so I would request from the commissioners that we table this until next month and give us a chance to further explore some of those options.
And I will say I'm the problem child on this. Shocked, how shocked you must be.
Yeah, I got the laugh. Thank you.
And you're welcome.
So one thing I would like to know is policy that we are presenting today is that of the Historical Society. But because the museum staff or county employees implement this policy, there are some things we need to further discuss before we're ready to toss this in your report. It has gone through the approval policy of the Historical Society and the Museum Board of Trustees. They have approved it. However, we do think it's wise to iron out some of these questions and answers before we move any forward. Any further forward.
And Catherine did a great job of responding to questions I raised over the weekend, but it just kind of verifies. Just staff needs to talk about it a little bit. Do we need to add anything to this? Do we need to have a separate policy of some kind on some of the issues that come up as a result of elections?
I'm good.
Can I entertain any questions?
We can just get it back on when you guys are ready.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks, Catherine.
thank you.
Do battle with plans. Good luck with beating about this much.
Oh, she had quite a few of them, very good answers, so I wasn't even tracking, I was just letting that one go right by, and then Clancy said, wait a minute.
Next commissioners.
That's okay. I know that's what.
In theory,
Are those cookies in here? Oatmeal.
that's a good policy. Just we just need to discuss a couple things.
Okay.
How's Julie?
Good. How are you?
Good.
No, it's not done yet.
Okay.
Now you know why.
Yeah.
You could have waited and that didn't help me any.
I'm just saving her from asking if she's gonna. Haven't forgotten.
I know.
So when you leave on Friday, Greg? Depending on the weather.
Yeah, well, I thought we were leaving about noon, about
When's the storm supposed to get here, you know?
Thursday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad the precipitation was wet and not, yeah.
Greg said he saw a little bit of snow and some.
It was a little slushy on my way this morning, yeah.
And he was in the sidewalk, was a little slushy.
I had a slick spot on my concrete at home. Oh, better walk a little more careful.
Yeah.
And on the gravel too, you know, how gravel does on the driveway, more, a little slick.
Everybody tried these.
I suggest you do.
Crackers or something with chocolate?
It's chocolate, that's all I need to hear.
What I'd like to hear, but it's not necessarily what I need to hear.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
It's like a mint chocolate.
Oh, really?
Nice.
No.
Sure, if it's mint chocolate, that's even better.
I still got Christmas and New Year's to go a bit of ways.
Rich.
Try one of these.
You know, I'm not a big mint and chocolate fan, thank you.
All right, we'll try one.
Oh, the time I'm gonna spend in the gym in January.
Or bad influences.
Yeah.
It's not bad though.
Thanks, Mo.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, they don't have any salty taste or anything. That taste is-
Ready for the snow?
I guess.
You guys, that sounds enthused.
I know, I'm not.
I think the snow might be the least concern.
I'm a little bit more worried about 40 below Friday.
I know.
night. It's chill. It's chill. I'm a little worried about that.
Agreed. Said, last time it was that low was 1989,
Oh, wow.
-41.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. That was oddly enough 3 days before Christmas too. It was cold on Christmas Eve. I remember I had to go pick up my grandfather because his car wouldn't start. And we got a brand new home entertainment system delivered that day from Congress down here. And there's
Somewhere in there, there's something true.
Ready, commissioners? 30 minutes.
I can't remember.
You got Saturday. And these motion.
Yeah. Make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Commission and reconvene as the Board of County Health.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commissioners, convene as Board of Health, all in favor?
Aye.
Good morning. I'm here with two items. First one being to refill a position. So we've had a vacant position for a couple of months now. It's a WIC clerk position in our Riley County offices. So we'd like to fill this position as our one clerk is definitely not enough. And this clerk is actually in charge of all of our IRIS referrals. So that's our integrated referral and intake system. It is much better to have one person in charge of that for consistency reasons. This current position is budgeted within the current WIC budget. So we're just asking to refill this position.
Julie, would you scroll down to the gold sheet? I just the full-time position.
Yes.
We have two, so, yeah, okay.
Nothing's changed on it.
Not on this position.
Not on this one.
So full-time benefits eligible.
And that total annual cost, is that an average?
No. No, that should be the highest of the initial range. So the position goes higher than that, with years of experience, but that initial range that we can offer in depending on the experience that comes in the door, that should be the highest cost there.
Okay, because we had talked a meeting or so ago about having an average total amount.
No, we had asked for what you said. It was an average. It said
It
before.
was an average.
Now we've asked for the highest of the one through what used to be just step 4.
Yeah.
That
All right.
department heads have authority to without coming to the commissioners for asking for more.
Yeah, it's a 6% above the minimum.
Okay. I misunderstood.
Okay.
But either way, it is budgeted, and so it is not new money that they'd be asking for. And the grade hasn't changed, the pay rate hasn't changed, benefits haven't changed.
Was this? Did we fill this one already and then another resignation, or it's just been open?
It's just been open.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I thought there was something else here. Okay.
We had planned on this individual being gone for a certain amount of time for maternity leave, so we had already kind of built that in. But yeah, we need to fill this position
Okay.
soon.
Okay. Why do I make a motion then to approve the position for the WIC program to continue serving the community and pursuing outreach opportunities in the area?
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to fill the vacant position, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All 3 sign, please.
Oops. Paper stuff.
This next one is a request for a part-time breastfeeding peer counselor position in our WIC department. They would be stationed at Irwin Army Hospital. We currently have a breastfeeding peer counselor in our Riley County offices. We've had this program since 2010. This individual works 30 hours a week, and her caseload has almost doubled in the last 3 years. So there's definitely a need for it with our overall caseload increasing in both places. But we've definitely seen a need for it at Irwin Army Hospital. So this individual will do a lot of education, peer counseling, be a support to mothers who are breastfeeding. Kaylin does have support from the state WIC office, so this is in their budget. To expand this breastfeeding peer counselor program to Irwin Army Hospital. There is space for this individual out there. I know that's always a problem in our Riley County offices, but they do have an office for her at their station at the hospital. So you can see here the fiscal impact. We split it up to show you the regrading of this position for the current breastfeeding peer counselor. That will be an increase to that position of $4,234.65. That's benefits included. And the addition of this new position at 15 hours a week would be an increase of $16,300.57, and that's benefits included as well. And these costs would continue to be included in the budget for fiscal year 2024. So this would be a new position, part-time, 15 hours a week.
But so to be totally clear, because you see there's 2 points there. It's one new position, but they've changed the position description. So there would be 2 people in this position if this position is approved with that new position description. So that person, the current person's salary would increase as well. It is covered by WIC, just like she said, but that's why there's 2 points. So with that additional duties that they've added to the position description, there's a big grade to the position, which is attached. So it's one decision, but it would affect potentially
This is
2.
all funded through WIC.
Yeah, it is.
So what happens somewhere down the road and it doesn't become funded by WIC?
We'll have to potentially cut it from the program. Hopefully our numbers will show that we can continue.
Understand
But
it.
you just, we show how much they're doing, they're gonna keep.
Yeah,
The only reason they cut it if they thought they weren't being used enough, is that what you're saying?
potentially, yes, yeah.
And so I just want to be clear from the HR side on that question. You would be approving this position. We would have the position. If we lost funding, you would then have to say you're no longer going to fill the position. It would have to be a decision that the board would make, which is fine and can be done. It's just it is automatic based on the funding.
Those aren't necessarily duties that could be incorporated into the original position at the higher rate. I mean,
They were different duties. They really took some of the medical clerk duties and added them to the breastfeeding position. And so they were from a separate kind of line of duties. Which again is completely covered by the proposal they made definitely covers this entire cost. But it would be both positions at that rate.
I notice on there it goes from December 24th, and I get you have to fall in line with pay periods there, but September 1st, it's not a full year, or
So their grant runs through.
oh, that's right.
It's a different cycle
right.
through.
So that's the funding grant cycle.
Yeah.
So what would happen-
All of our grants are in a different.
Yeah.
I think you got different years, you have to.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
usually come in late August with that one. That's right.
Well, and that's the timing on this is because they went back and asked for additional funding, so that it is just for that period of time, but they will ask for it again.
Okay, gotcha.
So yes, normally then, so like next year when you come back and they have the new September grants, it will be, if you approve it, it'll be included in that. And the December 24th that's just the beginning of 2023.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And to be honest, it'll be somewhat difficult to get that person in place by then.
Yeah.
Okay. One here.
But I think in the end, what they'd end up with between the two offices would be 35 hours.
Well, I think Alicia's already at 30.
I thought, yeah,
She's
that's,
talking about 20 and 15, but
Okay.
so if you did this for 30, then that's fine. That was fine.
So go ahead and make a motion to approve the updated breastfeeding peer counselors job description and to put out for hire a part-time breastfeeding peer counselor.
I would second that.
been moved and seconded to approve the updated breastfeeding counselor description and part-time breastfeeding counselor. All in favor?
Aye.
All three sign, please.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Next, Commissioner, you have Robin Cole at 9:55. Is Robin's time, actually.
This is.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have some handouts here, so. Take one of these.
How you doing, Robin?
Good, good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, I think I already have that.
Thank you.
Hang on.
So what I can give you is a copy of the Association of Community Mental Health Centers 2023
Yes,
behavioral health.
yes. Sorry,
One second.
Sorry.
Okay. Do you need to make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Health and then reconvene as the Board of that County Commission?
I would second that.
Moved and seconded to recess as the Board of Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
No, that's great. Good morning, and it's good to be here, even though it's a little messy outside. I provided for you a copy of the Association of Community Mental Health Centers of Kansas's 2023 public policy agenda. And the association is already getting busy on preparing for this next legislative session. And of course, there's already work that's happening in Topeka. But this gives you sort of a preview of what it is that the association will be working on with our legislators this year. Certification of certified community behavioral health clinics is at the top of the list. CCBHC is it's a federal criteria that that we have the opportunity to qualify under as we transition from being a licensed community mental health center to a certified community behavioral health center. This is an initiative that is happening statewide. In fact, the state legislature passed a law in the spring of 21 that would move all community mental health centers into this CCBHC status. Currently, there are 9 of 26 community mental health centers that are already certified or are provisionally certified as community behavioral health centers. There will be another 9 that'll be certified by July 1st of 2023. Pawnee intends to be included in that second round. And then the rest of the community mental health centers will be provisionally certified by July 1st of 2024. So it's an exciting time to be a part of community mental health. CCBHC is again a federal standard. We've not had a federal standard for community mental health centers up until now. You're probably aware that there are federal standards for health centers. So Kanza Community Health Center, for example, meets federal standards for community health clinics. As such, they are entitled to flexible funding that supports the real costs of providing services as they work to meet the care needs of the communities. The community mental health system has not had that same opportunity, but CCBHC will provide that kind of an opportunity for community mental health centers. So we're very excited to face that opportunity of having our reimbursement rates under the Medicaid program be based on what our actual costs are, as opposed to what the arbitrarily set rates have been. I did at the end of October provide some testimony to the legislature. It was the Special Committee on Mental Health Beds regarding workforce challenges, which are an issue that is of severe concern across the entire state. And so the reason that this legislative committee was interested in discussing workforce challenges in mental health is because they're also looking at the possibility of opening a state psychiatric facility in Wichita. And as they look at opening this facility in Wichita, their concern is, are there enough mental health professionals in the state to be able to staff a new facility in Wichita? And if there are they going to be stealing mental health professionals from already strapped mental health care providers from throughout the state? And so this committee requested testimony from community mental health centers. The KU Med Center Psychiatry Program provided testimony. There was representation from the Board of Regents. The Kansas Association of Community Colleges trustees was represented. The Association for Career and Technical Education and the Kansas State Nurses Association was also present to provide testimony to the legislature at that time. And so there are several recommendations that are coming out. You can see on the first page that one of the public policy agendas of the association is to encourage the legislature to build career pathways and support the workforce for mental health in the state of Kansas. And so we've been locally trying to do what we can to make sure that Pawnee's workforce is substantial enough to meet the needs of our community. Part of what we've done, we hired a recruiting manager. That position was paid for under a federal grant that we received a year ago. Our recruiting manager has been representing Pawnee at career fairs at Fort Riley, at different colleges and universities throughout the state. This fall, she attended a dozen different career fairs in an attempt to educate people about opportunities for at Pawnee Mental Health for their careers in mental health. We also have begun talking to high schools. And so, of course, we're really thinking down the road in terms of needing to build up a workforce of people who are interested in mental health in general and community mental health in particular. And so our first visit was to Manhattan High School, where we spent a day talking to all the different psychology classes about careers in mental health. Our strategy moving forward is to contact the schools throughout our 10-county service area and ask them if we could speak to their health classes. Health, of course, is a required course for all teenagers who are in high school. And if we could, we think it would be very valuable for us to have an opportunity to speak to, and this would be ninth graders primarily, just about careers in mental health, and see those health classes as being a really perfect place for us to just make those introductions and have those conversations and be encouraging the young students to be thinking about that. We, because of our caseloads and workforce challenges, have also begun inviting private practitioners in the community to consider working with us on a PRN basis. We are, of course, have contracts with companies that provide services through telehealth. We have some independent providers who contracted with us to deliver services through telehealth, and then are working to see if any local practitioners might be interested in doing any PRN work. We have had some individuals who were interested in doing some work through the crisis stabilization unit, and so that's been helpful there. Before we opened the crisis stabilization unit, we had a contract with Health Source Integrated Solutions, which is a entity of the Association of Community Mental Health Centers, to help provide services for us after hours, in particular crisis screens and helping manage our phone calls. After we opened the CSU, we felt like we really wanted to try to manage that on our own, to take all those calls coming in through the CSU, to do the screens through the CSU. But as the conditions of COVID continued, and as we began to see workforce challenges, we realized that ideal of doing all that ourselves was not something that was sustainable. And so on November 1st, we resumed our contract with Health Source Integrated Solutions for after hours, and so that would be evening and weekend support, which means that Health Source Integrated Solutions is now helping us provide coverage on evenings and weekends for individuals who are in crisis and who need to be screened. We have been actively recruiting for nighttime and weekend therapists. We don't have any problems with recruiting into case managers, recruiting residential psychiatric providers to work in the CSU 24/7, but it has become really difficult for us to find masters prepared therapists who want to work nights and weekends. And so we've been advertising for that, though, for, I didn't look the actual start date, but I think it's been over a year now. And we were able to hire one therapist who's going to start working for us night times. In fact, she's going through new employee orientation this week. So we're really excited to be able to have somebody who is, again, going to be a boots on the ground therapist in our CSU. We're also advertising for a mental health co-responder. And of course, the Mental Health Co-Responder Program is our program that is a partnership with Riley County Police Department. We previously had 2 mental health co-responders who were able to provide coverage up to 80 hours a week. And then when Bryn Haverkamp, one of the co-responders, was promoted to the position of crisis director, that reduced the co-responders to 1. And so then we picked up that extra with the staff at the CSU. But we're back to wanting to advertise to recruit for another co-responder. So if any of you have co-responder in your back pocket, please let us know, because Riley County Police Department and Pawnee Mental Health in the community would love to see that. One new initiative that we're starting at the CSU, and then also here in Manhattan, and I don't believe I talked about this the last time I was here, but we opened a sober living house. Maybe I did. We opened a sober living house in Manhattan mid-October. That sober living house is for men who have substance abuse issues and problems and who want to work towards sobriety. They must be in treatment, and as long as they're in treatment and working their treatment program, then they're eligible to stay at the sober living house. What we are also adding is a social detox bed at the CSU. And so that then will provide an increased level of sobering and social detox kind of opportunity through the crisis stabilization unit. And so we're really glad to be able to be doing that. We've got a lot of things going on at Pawnee Mental Health. I see, though, that my time is up, and it doesn't matter how fast I talk. There's always more to talk about than there is time to talk about it. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you very much and hope you all have a wonderful, I guess we've got Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
In a little less than a week and New Year's and there's all kinds of holidays happening. So happy holidays to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks.
It's Commissioner Clancy with the executive session. Full time Clancy, 10:30.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, move the county commission, including Chairman McKinley, Vice Chair Pokey, and Commissioner Ford, recess into executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Nancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, Craig Cox, Deputy County Counselor, attorneys for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 10:30 a.m. Amanda Webb, Director of Planning and Development, will be present during a portion of the executive session to provide factual information.
Or second that.
And moved and seconded to move into executive session, all in favor?
Aye.
Ready, commissioners? To see you.
You're ready.
Good. Okay. I would move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to come out of executive session, all in favor?
Aye. Also, move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
Oh, I second that.
Been moved and seconded as a binding action was taken, all in favor?
Thank you. Let's do another one.
Yeah,
That was much fun, let's do it again.
Why not?
well, the same people too.
That didn't sound sincere.
Oh, really?
How long you going on this one?
This one will need to be till 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. I move the county commission, including Chairman McKinley, Vice Chair Pokey, and Commissioner Ford, recess to executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Nancy Holman, Riley County Counselor, and Craig Cox, Deputy County Counselor, attorneys for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11 a.m. Amanda Webb, Director of Planning and Development, will be present during a portion of the executive session to provide factual information.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to recess into executive session, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'll move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to come out of executive session. All in favor? Aye.
And also move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded that no binding action was taken. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's all I have.
I don't have anything else. I've got a lot with me.
Got a couple. Regarding CASA,
Oh, yeah, okay.
they have sent an email stating because we were asking about contact information, staff was that they would like to store stuff up there, and we're hoping that they could get stuff out maybe over the next 90 days. I was thinking more like 30 myself and was going to ask for clarification, but since we've got this email, and then she also said we'd also like to inquire about the possibility of keeping supplies up there behind the divider wall. Do you know who to ask about that? Also, we have a court agreement with Riley County. We'll still need a fob access to the mailroom in the office building. And I don't know why that can't get changed to their new facility as well. And so it was part of your consensus, no on all of that in 30 days to get stuff out.
Yeah, that's plenty.
I just wanted to clarify before I sent the
They're not in
clarification.
the building anymore. That's a liability for us.
I'll send that and I'll copy Clancy on it. That way we're both on the same page because we
Not
do.
a storage use.
No. Plus, the longer they keep their stuff there, if something happens in our building, we're liable for their stuff, including our stuff.
I'll let IT know as well. IT's had some concerns as well. So just wanted to be sure, once I contact her, I just wanted to clarify because I was going to say 30 days and I didn't say that earlier, but want to be sure. We're in agreement. Okay, sounds good. And then the other thing I would put on the commissioner's radar, the weather. It is going to be extreme. There will be a lot of places closing on Thursday, I anticipate.
Yeah.
In the past, we have closed for less than probably -20 with wind chill, but it's something to keep on your radar. I anticipate with -40 because Thursday is actually the higher wind chill day than Friday due to the extreme winds on Thursday. So something I just want you to be thinking about. I'm not pressing the panic button and saying anything right now, but you need to be aware.
Call Thursday morning.
Yeah, I think if I remember back in February of 21, one of those days fell on that Monday meeting, I think, and
The wind's supposed to pick up after midnight Wednesday, so that's the extreme cold temperatures I anticipate to be Wednesday morning, and so just something to put on your radar. I want you to be aware of it.
our schools are already closed too, right?
No,
Not all. Riley's
something to go through tomorrow.
last day is Wednesday. They got
There's some of them that are- they're scheduled due to sickness, so they're actually closing.
half a day with kids on Wednesday at Riley, and then teachers get another half a day. So anyway, it's gonna be, if it comes to fruition, who knows with Kansas weather, it can change. in a
I have a
heartbeat.
feeling that's going to come to fruition.
I just wanted to mention it, that way it's no surprise.
Well, I'll be gone.
Yeah.
What do you care?
Just so it doesn't hit Virginia.
I think it's gonna happen too.
When the wind's
Sliding
sliding,
that way.
weather.
It all depends on when it hits.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come in Wednesday night.
That's when the extreme winds and a little bit of snow. The worst snow's Thursday night. So like I said, actually out of this weather, the snow is my least concern. It's the extreme
Well,
wind
we're
chills.
off.
It's my
Everybody's
bigger
off on
concern.
Friday already
Mhm,
for that.
right.
Anyway, so that's
As
what
I
I
was
was
saying, I'm supposed to go to Kansas City.
Oh.
If it was me, I'd be canceling that trip.
Well,
Unless you go early.
Especially, are you
Tell the
going?
grandkids
I'd go early.
I was gonna say, if you're going into, Kansas City proper, I would cancel, but you're on the outskirts like 11 where.
No,
KTAU's.
it's North Kansas City.
Yeah, I'd probably cancel.
Well, I'm with you, Commissioner McKinley. We, of course, we go only as far as DeSoto, but that's where we were headed, so.
And we're up in
I'm going.
I-29 and Berry Road.
Yeah.
That's south, John. If you don't have a
I'm
plan.
going west, but I'm not going west for the weekend, so I'm not into that.
All
Okay.
right.
We'll notify CASA.
Okay.
I would anticipate hearing back.
We're kind of solid on that, I think.
I wouldn't treat any other entity any other way on that. I mean, I think that's fair.
Beating on them, it's just.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
We need to kind of clean up things too. It's okay, just, but give the keys back and stuff.
Why do they need the key to our mail?
They would make reference to a court agreement for the mail room, but I mean,
Whatever
that's.
the court agreement is,
I
they
don't know
can
why we-
change
They're
their
not
address
sending
to
mail
where
to
they're
this
at now.
location.
Why would we have mail delivered? Why would they need mail delivered here?
Yeah.
Just to come over and pick it up?
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't have anything else. I don't know if anybody else did.
No.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion then that we adjourn the December 19th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I would second that.
Been moved second to adjourn the meeting, all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone have a good week. Catherine, travel safe.
Yeah.
You pressing to head anywhere, Rich,
You can just
To my
talk to
office.
Rich here in a second.
other than that?
Okay.
Or I can stop by your office if that's what you're wanting. Point is, no, I'm not.
That's a
doing it.
separate
Okay.
committee, so.
Yeah, actually, let's just do it down here. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
And Commissioners, you don't need anything up indicating law board. Obviously, that's a different governmental entity,
Right.
so.
It is.
But Derek was just asking if he needed to put up anything. I
No.
don't think he does.
No,
This
it's
is.
at the city, so they run it through their feed.
Yeah.
Oh,